Donovan, George, you've known him for a while, had 33 tonight, career high. Can you talk about the person and then also just seeing him succeed at this level?
Yeah, man. He's a guy that puts in the work. His energy is always positive. I've seen it from not playing to coming in, playing some minutes, then getting rotational minutes, then filling in as a starter. Doing so many different things, not just shooting the basketball, and just being able to see the growth, and then to see him go to Philly and being in big time playoff games, doing big things, and then to come here and do what he's been doing for us, man. It's great to see, just because I've seen the progression as he's seen mine. He's a guy that consistently puts in the work. We all love G. We all love his energy. Nights like this are incredible. Incredible to see. It's just one of those things that's special, man. It's great to see, someone I consider not just a teammate but a friend, since I first got in the league, and has been a helpful, influence on my career and what he's seen, and a very honest one, which I truly respect, So it's great to see him have a night like this. Hopefully he can duplicate it for a little while. It's just great to see. He puts the time in, puts the work in. It's great to see, it all come to fruition.
Isaac and Dean obviously having two difficult defensive matchups, holding Chris Middleton and Damian Lillard to 19 points to combine. What did you see from them in today's performance?
I think their duties became even tougher because Giannis came out. It became more so Chris and more so Dame. And for Isaac and Dean to step up the way they have, that's huge. It's big time. It was a big reason as to why we were able to, push the break, get stops, push the break. Dame is really good at drawing fouls, so being able to not play without fouling, and then that leads to our offense. Those two are huge. And then for Isaac to come in and turn around and have a career high in assist, on the flip side, I think that's something that, he's continuing to grow his game, playing in that half role, being able to be a playmaker. It's great to see. And, we got these guys again in another week, so as much as I want to, say things are great, I hate to be that guy, but as much as I want to say things are great, we got to see them again, and be ready, to play on their home court.
Chris.
There was a time this year where you guys playing inconsistent ball, and there were questions about this team, general questions about this team. How do you keep from doubting when other people do?
When you have the locker room we have, I don't think the confidence ever wavered. We've seen it. We've done it. And the thing is, it wasn't like we weren't doing it. I think we'd have less confidence if it wasn't like, okay, we're doing it on a Monday but not doing it on a Wednesday. I think there would be less confidence. But we would show, like, okay, we're capable of it. We would show it in halves and then not do it in the second half. We would show it in games, not do it. So it's like, all right, okay, it's there. And now, on top of that, I'm not using this as a crutch, but, like, we were injured and in and out the lineup. Guys were trying to figure things out. So when you became whole as a cream, and then we're injured now, but like just being able to continue to stay with it. It's a long season. If we're sitting here, wavering with confidence, we have no chance. So obviously it's natural for everybody to kind of have, especially after the way we started last year. We come up 10-1, whatever it is, and start off hot to come out not really hot, to start the season. In the season where there's expectations, it's natural for people to feel that way. But for us, it's just continue to stay the course. And even though we're playing good basketball now, it's continue to stay the course. We're not up here, we're not down here. It was continue to stay even keel throughout the whole process.
During the 6-game winning streak, you guys have barely trailed. So what has it taken? What's been required to sustain that high level of basketball for such long?
Full 48 minutes. Like that's the biggest thing. When we played these guys a week or so ago, we were up same way we were, and then the third quarter they kind of set that tone. So that's what you're starting to see is us starting to continue to keep our foot on the gas. And there are gonna be nights where we don't go up, to start the game. There are gonna be nights where we have to play from behind, have to come back. You look at the Dallas game. That's the one that really sticks out to me. There's gonna be games like that. There's gonna be games where you have to play from behind. There's gonna be games where you play from ahead. But the biggest thing is being consistent. And we're doing a really good job right now. But the biggest thing is you just got to keep going. Continue to keep going on a night-to-night basis.
Joe?
George talked about the camaraderie on this team, how cohesive it is, how much you guys really love each other. Who or what do you credit that to?
Everybody, man. Everybody has their thing. Like it's, it was like that last year, and then you add Max and George, and it's still that way. You know what I mean? So it's like you add two guys who are even more positive. You know what I mean? So it's just like I think everybody in the locker room, us is 1 through 15 or whatever it is, like you just look up and down. Everybody has like their thing, whether it's being funny, being a funny asshole, like whatever it may be. We make fun of Max not smiling, like we make fun of Isaac, like myself, like it goes down the list. And there's just so much within the locker room that and alluding to Chris's question, like when we were going through the ups and downs, it was still easy to come to work. You know what I mean? Like that's the best part about it, is understanding that it's a long season. And if you have a locker room that's divided, it makes it even longer. But throughout all this, and we're still not even whole yet. We're still not a whole unit, and we're still the fact that DG and Ev are consistently there, consistently cheering. Because that's tough. To be out for so long, but consistently in the building. To be there, it just speaks to the group and the energy we have.
Jackson.
Jackson Flickinger, right down Euclid. So you've been technically playing the point guard for about a month now. How has your game developed throughout that process?
I think I've had experience with it in the past. In my time in Utah, when Ricky was there, he went down with a hamstring injury. I was playing it for about the same stretch as I am now. Same thing with Mike Conley. So just being able to kind of just go back to that, getting familiar with that, but also not really dominating the ball, like I think when we think of point guard, it's more like you bring the ball up, you run the play, whatever, but kind of just getting off it, allowing Isaac to get in transition, giving up to Dean, giving up to Max, playing off secondary actions, being in the paint, finding guys. That's pretty much been my job, whatever it calls for. And teams are going to collapse when I drive to the rim, so just being able to find guys that are open, and it also helps when you have Jay to hit in the pocket and he's hitting these hook shots in the mid range. Like it's very fluid. You know what I mean? So for me, that's just been my role, and just continuing to do it.
So during the 6-game win streak, you guys have won 4 of those by more than 18 or more points.
Mm-hmm.
What have you learned about this team during that stretch?
Just resiliency. I think December 15th or whatever it was when those two guys got hurt, I think there was a lot of noise of what was going to happen with our group, and you're starting to see guys really step up. The Sam Merrills, the Georges Niangs, the Dean Wades, Isaac Okoros, the Jared Allens. I think that's something that we're really starting to see. Craig Porter, just guys elevating their game and doing it by committee. I think that's the biggest thing, and we may go on a 12-game win streak, we may lose too, like whatever it is, but there's a biggest thing for playing good basketball. That's the biggest thing about it. It's being consistent. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Donovan, George called the camaraderie you guys have in that locker room refreshing, and since you're not a new face, but you were a new face last year, did you kind of get a similar sentiment coming into this group, just the general vibe of just how they work and come to work every day?
Yeah, it's fun. Like, you know what I mean? You come in and, there's so much. You can tell the bond. Even when I came last year, you could just tell, like, for it to be so fluid I came, 2 weeks before camp last year? Like, for it to be so fluid and fresh, that's refreshing. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many. It's not always like that throughout the league, and to have a group that's continuing to rise, continue to figure themselves out, and still be able to be steady with each other, and be able to just have fun and enjoy this process through wins and through losses. I think that's something that makes the game easy, makes the game fun, because that carries out onto the floor. Remember the one game George hits a 3 and DG jumps on his back, like, you know what I mean? Like that stuff is important. Like I said, it's a long season, and there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be trials, tribulations, but the one thing that's always consistent is the goofiness, and the having fun. And then also it's great that you can have that and then also turn it on, like, and understand that when it's time for the game, it's time for the game, and not kind of being lax, and and it also allows you to hold each other accountable, which has been good.
And you had mentioned it's 14 games now that you've been without Evan and DG out there. Have you just been impressed with, I know the camaraderie probably helps a lot, but just impressed with how well these guys have just continued to handle just like what seems like countless adversity just keeps hitting you?
Yeah, I think you're defined most when adversity hits, and you're looking at a group that's really just finding it together. We have a lot of guys that really know how to play the game, which makes it easy. I speak on Sam, I speak on Craig, I speak on Dean and Isaac, just because I don't think everybody knew what we've seen, in practice, especially Sam and Craig. I don't think people knew, the level that they're capable of getting to, and I think that for me is one of the best parts about this is that they're being able to showcase what we've seen in practice, what we've seen, we saw from Craig in summer league. You know what I mean? So even see it like tonight, he comes in and still getting to his spots and whatnot, finding guys. So I think that's been the bright spot, and we all love each other's success, and I think that's something that is not always the case, as we all know, and that's in life. That's not just in the game of basketball. But I think it's great to see that, and I think it also will help when those two come back. Things, foul trouble happens. You need a quick spark. You need different things. You know what you're getting from each individual guy.